Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. In quarantine, in our homes. Wait, I didn't even ask you. Are you bleeding?
I just finished.
Oh,
Like 2 days ago.
Okay, so I'm on day 4 now.
So we overlapped.
We did. And this is obviously pre-recorded, guys, but yesterday I thought it was the end. I'm so happy to be here. I woke up in such a good mood and Monts was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "I'm alive." Like, I don't think you understand how much I literally thought I was going to die yesterday. 99% sure I had an ovarian cyst that ruptured, and yeah, I'm just like, I've never been one of those people who wakes up and is like, blessed, happy to be here, blessed, but like, I feel
bless
like
up, wake up, bless up.
Honestly, like, this is the first time in my life I've ever like woken up like blessed, maybe after the seizure too, where I was like, I'm happy to be here. Like, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for being here today. Literally how I feel. Like,
oh, great.
Yeah, it's a good time.
I'm
and also I
good.
had coffee today and I didn't have coffee yesterday. Well, I did, but then
You had it again.
I had it again. Which is somebody who has a very weak stomach. I could give you a full-blown ranking of the worst things to...
Corn dogs worse for me. Worse, I'll never eat a corn dog again. I can't stand the smell of it.
I feel so bad for you because corn dogs are like an elite food. Like,
I
they're
love,
just a
and the thing
perfect
is,
food.
it's the smell of them being of the oil with the cornbread and the hot dogs, because separately I eat hot dogs probably one every other day.
I love
in
a
quarantine.
hot dog.
In quarantine, and I've got the bison ones.
Ooh, chef's
So
kiss.
it's not like bad. There's nothing bad in it
There's
at
no
all.
nitrates.
Yeah, and like it's just like a bison tenderloin that they turned into a hot dog.
Tasty.
Yeah.
I love that. I would say the worst thing to this trigger warning for anybody. I forget what it's called. I almost said mesothelioma. That's so
No, that is not what
That's
this
the
is.
infomercial. But if you have a fear of throwing up or whatever, I'm not going to get explicit about it. But the number one thing I can say with full certainty is popcorn, because it is painful.
I don't think I've thrown up popcorn.
So painful. You know how when you poop out like porn, like I almost said porn kernels.
I
Corn
have
kernels.
not ever pooped out a porn kernel, but,
but you pooped out corn, and how
yes.
it's like whole. No
Solid.
matter what you do, it's like corn.
yeah, it
that's
doesn't digest.
That's the same thing with popcorn. And so,
Mhm.
like, when you are up chucking that shit, it is painful. So yeah, I'm so glad I could share that with you guys. Thank you so much. Okay, well, this is Don't Blame Me, guys. If you want to call in for an upcoming episode, our phone number is 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. And yeah, should we get into it? Should we give some advice?
Let's do it.
Oh, wait, I do also want to say, if you're watching the video version and I'm drinking out of a plastic water bottle, Moss is a dipshit. For some fucking reason, he bought a water bottle when he was like out getting gas. And I was like, that was really stupid. Why would you do that? But I'm drinking out of it because I'm refusing to let it, go to waste.
Also, is Fiji.
Well, I filled it up. It's been
Oh.
But on top of that, my other like cute water bottle, the pink one that I always have, there's like an air bubble that like I can get it out of the straw, but then it just comes back, and it was just making me like so gassy, and I was like so fucking annoyed. So this is where I'm at right now. Okay, let's get into it.
Hi Megan, I'm 22 years old and I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years. 6 months ago, I discovered he's been talking with an older woman, an ex-teacher, who went after him at the beginning of our relationship. He did tell me about her, and she kept chasing him, but he told her no, and I thought that was in the past. But as I've said, I discovered those conversations they kept having, and some were about, I don't know, politics and normal stuff, but a few of them were of sexual nature, and it wrecked me. But it also opened an honest conversation about what happened, why he did it, and also about other problems we've been having, but also avoiding. We were very happy, it's not that we weren't, but we never just said some stuff out loud that bothered us. Like, I found out I sometimes made him feel stupid, and it felt good that someone else told him he was brilliant and intelligent. This woman I told you about. And also other stuff. And we came to the conclusion that's why he did it. Also because the whole fantasy, you know. And he also told me that when he was a kid, he was abused, and now he has a hard time saying no to people. And he didn't blame all of this on his childhood or me or anything like that. He owned up to what he did. But also, I think that played a big part in what happened, because she did insist, she did keep messaging him, and I know he's not a saint, and I'm not blaming her. I'm not one of those girlfriend that blames the woman, even though she's married and has kids, whatever. But in some ways it made us better, because we're more honest and we're working on our relationship, and he's demonstrating me how much he loves me and how much he wants me in his life. So I'm leaning towards forgiving him, but sometimes I'm just so hurt.
She cut off, but they weren't just talking. I guarantee that.
No, that's the thing that, like, I mean, I think it's, there are plenty of different ways that, like, your relationship can strengthen, and going through shitty stuff is totally one of them. So I'm not going to knock that at all. But I don't think either you don't have the full story or you're not telling us the full story, because, like, did they stop talking? Like, Did he own up to the fact? Like, it seems like everything that he owned up to was more justifying and the reason behind it, less of like what actually happened. And we are also, if you're new here, which maybe actually I have gotten a couple DMs of people who were like, just discovered the podcast.
Yeah,
so
there's been a lot of people in the comments too, and
nice.
on YouTube.
Sup, guys? Well, if you're new here and you haven't watched all our episodes, our whole thing is if you find one thing, it's like the iceberg. There's a lot of other stuff below that. So if you find out one thing and your partner is like, yep, that's all there is, here's all the reasoning to it, that's a load of bullshit. Like, when you know that you are, if something's been, like, if they're hiding something from you, no one's hiding one thing. And if you want to know, you can obviously never know for sure if someone's telling you the full truth. But I go by the game or the mindset of, if you then tell me things that I didn't find, that I wasn't close to finding, that I had no idea about, the things that you got away with, that's the stuff that's how I know you're now being honest with me. But there's no way, no matter how good at snooping I am, that I found everything all in one go and that's all there is there.
Yeah. There's just a lot of things going on here. First of all, the teacher's a predator, and and they're married with kids. Like, she needs, I don't know if she's still at her job, but her behavior needs to be reported.
Yep.
And that's not nothing she did was okay at all. So I'm guessing it was like a college teacher.
I fucking hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. But like that's bad. She tried to talk to your boyfriend when when you guys first started dating. But also, the part that got me was that you said that he said this was a fantasy. It was part of the fantasy aspect. So that means that he's been thinking about this.
Mm-hmm.
And just because and it happened, like she hit on him when you guys first started dating. I don't think it was just hitting on. I think something else happened, and then they've been dragging it out this whole time, but she's been married, he's been with you, so there's been this weird in between.
Mm-hmm.
And like Megan said, I don't think you're getting the full story at all. And also, he made a lot of excuses and was gaslighting you. And my big thing that I live by is excuses build bridges to nowhere. And you said he took responsibility, but is he really? Because he's not
telling you everything.
He's not telling you everything. And I think you need to be asking more questions if this is where you want to stay. And the fact that you're even questioning if you should forgive him, like that was your question. Should I forgive him, or how can I forgive him? That's something that you have to come to on your own conclusion. We can't give you the tools that you need to do that. Like, you either forgive somebody or you don't. You either believe him or you don't. You either move forward or you don't.
Yeah, if you're seeking outside opinion for something like that, you want permission to not forgive them. Because there's like, if you've been fucked over by somebody or anything like that, and you choose to forgive them, that's all on you. Like, there is no, like, you don't ask anybody else what their thoughts are, like, because truthfully, this situation doesn't paint him to look good. So asking anybody, what do you think I should do? They're going to say, I think you should fucking break up. And so if you want to stay in a situation that doesn't look great and that hasn't been the best and doesn't paint the person you want to stay with in a flattering light, you don't ask for input. You don't ask for like, hey, should I stay? You're like, against my better judgment or anybody else, what they think, I'm just going to fucking do it. And that's nobody else's business but my own. But I think, like, if you guys have been together for 3 years, you're 23. If we're going to assume you guys are around the same age, that means he was like 20 when this stuff kind of started. And I think the big tell here that he's protecting her is that he's giving a lot of justifying reasons on his end why he partook in this with her versus, yeah, this was predatory. This is something like, I'm going to report her family. I need to tell her husband, all of that stuff. He's still protecting her because he's making it also like, oh, well, I had like trauma as like a child. Like, I don't know, I have a hard time like saying no and all of that stuff. That's something that's still making it his fault and putting it on him. And I think that totally checks out with trauma, but also regardless of his trauma, even like because of his trauma, he should be going to therapy and like learning like, oh, I need to report this woman because she preyed on me because I had this trauma. And this was something that like I can then put on myself versus he needs obviously taking responsibility for like, I fucked up, but it's also confusing to me, like the fantasy excuse and then the trauma excuse. Like, you're right. It is gaslighting. It's like, here's this thing that happened to me, which we've said on here a bunch it is a lot of sexual abusers have sexual like abuse in their childhood, but a lot of people who have been sexually abused or abused do not continue that cycle. It's not a cause and effect sort of thing. And using that as like a reasoning, but then also the fantasy aspect of it, I just think they don't coincide. Like, pick which one it is. And I don't know if you've had a conversation with this woman or if you kind of you know, when you snoop and then you find enough and then you like can't handle anymore. I don't know if you continued to dig, but if I were you, I would be like, I mean, truthfully, I don't, I think if you're asking to stay, I don't think that you should, but I think truthfully, go to couples therapy and like as soon as you get into therapy, being like, I need you to tell me literally everything because I'm going to tell this. Because like here's like if this woman has like a family and kids, she doesn't want that to come out. So if you then come to her, she's probably going to be way more fucking truthful than he is because she's like, no, you can't do any of this stuff. Like I'll tell you everything that you want to know as long as you promise you don't like tell these people and all of this sort of shit. But she needs to be like reported for her job. Yeah, it's just you're in a shitty situation, but I think forgiving your boyfriend is like step 7 of like, is he willing to report her to the school? Is he willing to like go to therapy? Is he willing to share this information with her family? And like, if he's willing to do all of that, then I think consider staying with him. But if he's not willing to do that, then he's protecting her and like not protecting your relationship. Or just fucking be done because that's a lot. And then just report on your own.
Yeah.
Ew, I don't get the teacher fantasy.
I've
also never had a hot teacher.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever had a hot teacher. But
I flirted with a TA once and I got like a C in a class versus like failing it. But
yeah,
it was
I
not
mean,
like,
TAs
it was
are
painful.
like a year older than you. Like that's not,
yeah.
It's not the same thing.
No, but he was not cute either. And I was like, please. No way. Oh, gross.
Hi, Megan. Hi, Melissa. I'm 19. Oh, just kidding. I'm actually 20 years old. I've been with my boyfriend for about a year and a half now. Where do I even start? So I've noticed starting about 6 months ago that my boyfriend would check up from his previous relationship before me, like just check up on her Instagram, check up on her Twitter, and I've confronted him about it before more than once, and he's always told me, like, does it mean anything? Like, I did the best for her. Like, they didn't end badly or anything, and I understand wanting the best for your ex, especially if you end not in a terrible way. Like, I used to check on my ex every once in a while, but for like the past year, I haven't really checked up on him because I just don't care. I'm not with him anymore for a reason. And I told my boyfriend, like, is there like a reason behind it? Like, is there like any other reason? And the only thing he told me was, no, there's no meaning behind it. I don't know why I do it. And it's a little unsettling to me, but I'm trying to trust him. And I told him that I have no reason for me to believe that he would cheat or do anything like that, because I know he loves me, but I just don't really, it's just hard for me to, I don't know, like I trust him, but it's just, I can't help but think there might be something else behind his actions, like something unresolved still between them, but that's just my gut intuition, but it's hard when he doesn't admit it, and I just need your advice. I don't know if this is something that I should seriously consider being like the deal breaker, especially if I know that they haven't talked to each other or he hasn't reached out to her or anything. So I just need your advice. Thank you. Bye.
I would lose it. I saw Monts look up one of his ex-girlfriends like once, and they did not end well. Like, he does not speak of her fondly at all. And I like saw over her shoulder. I was like, why did you like search her on Instagram? And it was like someone had like she's got a pretty unique name, and someone had like applied for a job or something. He overheard someone saying that she like might end up working at some other place, and so we like looked up to see if it was her. And I was like, okay, but that was like it. I don't know what I would fucking do.
Does he follow her, or is he like doesn't follow her and then looks her up? Because I think that if he doesn't follow her and he's looking her up is like worse.
Yeah.
And when you said
it has to be, because he wouldn't be like, Well, she said checking in on. You're right, so we don't know.
And see, I thought when she was going to say checking in on, like they text sometimes like, hi, how are you doing? And that seems less bad to me than this.
Ew. Because if you didn't end badly, then why aren't they friends?
Yeah.
Because to me, that seems like one of those things like, oh, she moved away, or it was like there was something that like, it wasn't a choice on either of their parts, because like, why aren't they friends?
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know,
why does he have the need to, if they're not friends?
Yeah.
Why does he have the need to check in on her? And I don't even think this is checking in or checking up, because checking in means that you're like having a dialogue with somebody. He's just like Facebook stalking her.
Like,
or Insta stalking Facebook. Who does that?
Like me, but it's only because I don't follow my exes on Instagram.
Yeah. So what is he doing? One. And then two, if they didn't break up badly, they're not friends. That sounds like there's still unrequited feelings there.
Yeah. And I hate to say that, but I fully agree. It to me sounds like the reason why they broke up was consequence. Like it was outside of either of their control. So he's like still kind of thinks of her as like maybe like the one that got away or as a possibility. And this one's going to hurt a lot. But also maybe if like he is not, I don't want to say he's questioning your relationship, but maybe that he's like thinking about this other girl and it sucks. But I think like you've talked to him about it and he keeps fucking doing it. That's the thing. Like you've been together for 1.5 years and this started 6 months into your relationship and like he still does it and just tells you that it's normal. That to me is like the biggest issue, because if you tell someone something that, hey, this makes my like feelings hurt, this doesn't really feel great, I would like an explanation, like, and he's like, he gives you the explanation, but just kind of like, this is not like a hard fucking thing either. Like I'm all about like not like wanting our partners to read our minds, but like you checking in on your ex, like that's in movies, sir. Like that's like spoon fed. You know that this is like a way that people react to that it's like not my favorite fucking thing. And so him then continuing to do it, but just tell you that it's like normal and there's like nothing there. That I think is weird. And I don't necessarily think that he's like cheating on you or talking to her, but I definitely think that he is thinking about her a lot. And like I don't know, like I will look up, which of my exes have I looked up? I've like if someone has, I've got like one, like my high school ex is still kind of in a like somewhat friend circle with a lot of my high school friends. And so if I see like a tagged picture, I'll be like, oh, what are you up to? Like, what are you doing? And I'll like look that way. But I don't check in regularly. Like maybe like we broke up when we were 17.
That's not even the same. Like
exactly.
That's been 10 years.
I maybe even stopped. But when I still had feelings for him, after we broke up and I was like in college and like I was in other relationships that didn't end, I would look back all the fucking time. And like, but once you're in, I think it's very weird once you're in a relationship to check in on your exes unless, again, you follow them. Like Monts follows his like high school girlfriend, or I don't even know if he follows her, but he's like a ton of friends who still follow her, and she got engaged. And then he was like, whoa, like I need to go like see what these pictures are. But like he's showing me being like, oh my God, remember this girl I used to date in high school? The stories I've told you, like she got engaged. I can't believe it. Like blah, blah, blah. But I just think that he is downplaying it a lot. And regardless if you trust him or not, I think like we kind of have this idea that, oh, my partner loves me and they're not cheating on me, therefore I can trust them. And like, I think there's so much more nuances to all of that and like your feelings and taking them into consideration. Like your partner can do things that are hurtful that don't involve cheating, that also can just be like, oh, he's not necessarily prioritizing my uncomfortability and my feelings, and he's just continuing on with this and ignoring all of that stuff. So I think that you need to like evaluate that. And then I would have another sit down conversation with him and tell him how, as opposed to like questioning the reasoning and everything by it, just tell him how it makes you feel and say, this makes me feel like you have unresolved feelings with this girl. Why did you guys break up? Get all that. Like, so if you're not friends, why are you still checking in on her? Because this like makes me feel like you still want to be with her, or you're questioning our relationship. And if he's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, okay, so then what are you going to do about my feelings? Like, what's your response then? Like, how are you have made me feel this way. So how are you going to fix it?
Yeah.
And if he's like, I don't know, then fucking toss the boy in the trash.
Yeah, he's not worth your time. And then if you find out that he's sneaking around and doing it later.
Oh, you should follow her. You should. I hope she's private. Request to follow her.
Mm-hmm. That's petty.
Yeah. That's the point. It's me. What do you... Hello.
I know. But if she's private and he doesn't follow her, then that's not possible.
It's true. Mm-hmm. I would still follow her, but again, I am petty.
And it's petty against your boyfriend and not the girl.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't know. The girl doesn't know.
Yeah, that's true. Or she might.
True. But that means that he's actually checking in on her.
Yeah.
She does know.
Okay, so I don't even know how to start this story, but so I'm 22, I'm Dutch, and I just heard that my twin sister had sex with my best friend, my best guy friend, and I don't fucking know what I have to do about it. I'm so mad. I'm so mad at them. They're so fucking stupid. Because they told me that they like each other and that they're dating now, and that now I can't like make choices for myself, like to hang out with my friends, because he's like part of this friend group of mine, and my sister, because she's like my twin sister, so she will like want to come along and stuff and like do things with me, and that's fine, but not all the time. And now he's told me that like because they're dating now, that he did, because she's his girlfriend, she can just always come along, and like I don't get to have my own fucking friends. And like my dad found out, and he's like totally mad at them, and he said things like, no, that boy's never coming into my house again, get him out, is he there right now? Because they're like on this camping, and he's probably gonna like show up here and like throw him out, and I don't want to do that because he's my best friend. It's so fucking unfair. Why couldn't it be just I don't even know how to fucking explain anything more than this, but how am I supposed to deal with this? How am I supposed to be okay with this? What the fuck, man? I don't know. So right, what else do you need to know? I guess that's it. I really hope you can give me any sort of advice. I feel very much betrayed, because they like kept this a secret, and they have like all these secrets right now for me, and I didn't know, and they said that it's been going on for like a little while, and I don't know what a little while means, and it's just, I don't know how much I want to know, because it's like so fucking gross, and I can't, I don't know.
This is extra gross because do you guys look alike? Because you do.
Yeah. But I don't understand why it's gross.
I mean, so I get it in a proxy sense. Like I have a friend who's a fraternal twin, so boy, girl. And she was very, very adamant on like none of our friends could date her brother. Like it was like, no, like it was just like too fucking weird, because they had to share everything growing up. And that's even more of a thing with like boy, girl. Twins is like you're sharing like absolutely everything. So I get that. I think like, I think I would feel, I understand like the betrayal feel. I mean, like I'm trying to think of like, how would I react? I'll be honest, if like one of my friends decided to date Leo, I'd be really fucking pissed, because like for her, she's being put in a position where she's going to have to choose her twin sister's side. And this is like a friendship that she has no desire to end with him. And when they inevitably break up, she's going to have to. So I think that's the thing that like I would get annoyed with if like a friend of mine dated like if my best friend, if like Sydney fucking dated Leo, I would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you ruining my life? But we also can't control people.
Mhm.
And I think like those feelings are really natural and understandable, but I would break it down more to, oh, I feel like she's taking stuff that I have. And I feel like this was my friend. And now that friendship is in jeopardy. And then I would really, as much as I think you need to talk to your sister, I would really fucking talk to him and have a like conversation with him about that and her and say like, if you guys break up, I'm not choosing a side. Like, unless one of you, like, unless I decide that I don't want to be friends with him, like, and that's on my choice, like, you need to know that, like, yeah, I'm not going to, like, end this friendship with him. And then the same thing with him, and just really try and prioritize that. But I think you're in, like, a sucky situation that also happens to be, like, the plot of Edge of 17 and a lot of other movies.
Yeah, but I'm also like, they like each other and they can't help how they feel. So why would you want the two people that are important to you not be happy?
Yeah. I think they should have asked. I mean, not asked or like given you a heads up. I think it's betrayal.
I think they waited to see if it was an actual, like, if they actually like really liked each other before they did something that like they could have just like hooked up. And then, because you started off saying that they had sex, but then you ended it with saying that they are boyfriend and girlfriend. So like they clearly waited to see if they had like actual feelings before they brought it to you, and made sure that this was real, so that like you, like, I think they were being protective of your feelings.
Just like not in the, it's hard to predict how you would have wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? They had a 50-50 chance. Either we tell her right off the bat and she's pissed, or we don't tell her right off the bat and maybe she won't be pissed. And
we wait and figure out what we actually have. And they actually like each other now. So yeah. I think that you should share your feelings with them. Mm-hmm. Be truthful. But like also, if this, like, don't stand in their way. Like, people can't help their feelings.
Yeah, I think you need to protect your relationships with them. And I think like being angry is totally valid. And I think like vent about it and all of that stuff. But I think if your number one fear is like losing him as a friend, I think if you stay angry and you project that anger, then you're going to lose that friend. And I think it is kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy in that sense. And I would also like talk to your dad too and just be like, hey, he's one of my good friends too. And like, yes, it is going to take more scheduling of like, hey, let's hang out as friends. And like my sister will be here or she won't. And we'll figure that kind of stuff out, and have a conversation with your dad to be like, I know that you want to, like, you're being protective of her like relationship and like her, whatever it is. But I also need that to not get in the way of like my friendship with him too. And so like, let's also, all come to like, understanding.
They're 22. It's not like they're like high school kids.
He's protecting her. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a sucky situation that is already happening. And I think it's how you deal with it. It's whatever outcome you want. That's not them breaking up. Like whatever outcome you want, you need to focus on doing what you can to get that outcome versus like changing what's happening right now. Because like if you force them to break up, you're also going to lose him as a friend. And then you have like all this fucking beef with your sister. And I don't think that's what you want. So I think figure out with the set of like the hand that you've been dealt with the situation. It's not ideal. It's not what you want. Express your feelings and then come up with a game plan and an action plan to get what you can get out of this and like protect your relationships and friendships and all of that stuff. Best of luck. I apologize though.
Sorry.
Not a fun time.
Are you in love with him?
I know. Is she? Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back. And we're back from our break. Woo, woo, woo. Let's get into the rest of the calls.
Hi, Megan and potential guest. So I don't know how to put this. Okay, so a few weeks ago, I found like random numbers on my boyfriend's phone, and they were like, it was like really weird messages, like these like grown women sending pictures, but they weren't like naked or anything. And then they were just saying things like, do you like that? And stuff like that. And he would give them like really simple answers, and I like freaked out about it. And like, I was at his house, but I left and I didn't text him about it until later. Yeah. And then like we got in an argument about it, and he was like, oh no, like it was just like me and my coworkers were messing around, seeing if like escorts were real and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, like I like chose just to believe him. And that was that. But we were hanging out yesterday and he fell asleep, and I went through his phone again, and I found weird text messages with these like random women again. And that's when I realized, okay, like it's not a work thing. Like it wasn't like a joke that he was making with his coworkers or something like that. Like it's like for him, you know? I guess I just, like, should I be okay with it? I don't feel like I am, but like, should I look at it as a form of like, oh, like that's just how he like hit a form of porn almost, like as if he were to look at like an OnlyFans account type thing, if that makes sense. Yeah, and I don't know how to feel about it because these are like grown women, and we're both 20, so like I didn't know he was like into that, and I just don't know how to feel. I don't know if I should like break up with him, or because I obviously like he might be like a little embarrassed about it because it's the first time he had to lie and say it was a coworker thing, like they were just messing around and seeing if escorts are real and whatnot. I don't think he's actually going and doing anything. I think he's just texting, from what I saw and read. So, yeah, any advice you could give me would be great. Thank you so much, and I love the podcast.
I needed to see if escorts were real.
Like,
did you think they were unicorns?
Right. Like,
you didn't believe.
That's not even.
Dig this.
That's not an excuse. Like, he just pulled that out of his ass, and why did you
know
believe
what
that?
Escorts are for?
They're
not
for fucking.
texting.
Yeah.
If he wanted to see if an escort was real, he's like, well, let me see if I give her money, what's going to happen? Like, it's not that.
I mean, you can Google escort. Like, that's not. He's not just texting these women.
Merriam-Webster, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
It's in the dictionary. This isn't a mythical creature.
No.
Oh, my
Also,
God.
like, why? I'm sorry, but why would you buy the excuse that him and his coworkers were just looking this up to see if it's real? Because like,
she knows he's dumb.
Yeah.
She
but
knows,
like,
you know that he's an idiot.
But what does he do for a job? Like, what is he doing for work that you're like, yeah, this is something that's normal that happened? You didn't think it was normal because you checked his phone again. You knew he was lying. I get it. You gave him the benefit of the doubt the first time because you love him. But like, he's lying. And it's not like porn, because with porn, you don't lie about porn.
Yeah. No, there's like, and these aren't, I think you're being really fucking, you're like, well, maybe he's like embarrassed. Like, maybe he's covering his tracks. That's what, it's not, he's not embarrassed. He knows, the reason why he's not being honest with you is because he knows what he's doing is not cool. And like, if you want to do something in a relationship that like, you know, your partner's not okay with, and if you really want to do it, fucking double check with your partner, talk about it, have a conversation. But like, you're saying that the pictures like are just normal pictures, like they're not sexual. Like, what escort does he think this? Like, where did he go? Like, textamom.com? Like, what the fuck is that? Like,
is that a website?
No, I mean, it should be. It's got a
if
nice
it's not, it should exist.
But it makes no fucking sense. Like, who are these people? He is. If it's being an escort, escort is considered sex work, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So is he paying these women or nah? And like, what is he paying them for? To text? And it's not within an app. They have his phone number. None of it makes sense. Like, none of it adds up at all. And I think that
it sounds like he's on Craigslist looking up these women.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like, this is, and it's not like an innocent, I just want to text. It's, hey, I'm into this. Let me text, and then let me go fuck a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And like, girl, get the fuck out. Just get the fuck out.
And
he's too stupid. Regardless,
and
like he's also
stupid because he didn't delete anything. He's got numerous
oh my god
pictures and phone number. Yeah.
After you already found it.
He's an idiot. You deserve better.
If you are dating someone who doesn't know if escorts are real, break up with them.
Yeah.
They're so dumb. You can't fix stupid.
Yeah.
He is a fucking idiot.
He knew they were real. That's just the bullshit excuse that he gave you and you bought it, but stop buying it. Like you don't keep buying things that are defected. Like, you know, this is a lie. Stop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Leave him.
It's like you're buying like an Apple computer from Craigslist that costs $4 and it's just like someone drew a picture. Yeah. And he goes, this is what it is.
And then stuck the Apple sticker. You know, you get 1 million of those with the real stuff.
Yes. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's, don't buy it. He is a fucking idiot. And he thinks if he can get away with a lie like that you are also dumb. And you are, don't be dumb, break up with the fucking boy.
Oh my gosh.
And save the numbers and then start texting him and then be like, hey,
you should text them regardless. You should text them.
Yep.
Just to see it, because I'm curious. I want to know for my own curiosity. I want you to text them and report back what they say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And girl, you need to start trusting your own fucking gut. And like the second that you saw this, that you didn't say anything and you just left and then you wanted to text about it, I think you are not giving yourself enough credit to be someone who can like stand up for yourself and like say how you feel in the moment. And I would take this as like a learning experience of, hey, my gut is right. I can believe my gut and I can believe these instincts. And so that if this happens, anything similar happens in a relationship where I feel uncomfortable or I find something, I'm going to stand my fucking ground and I'm going to talk about it in person because I can and I am capable of that. And yeah, because I think that I don't know what other relationships that you have or other previous relationships, things that you've had, but because no offense, but like I understand that, like we've talked about it before, we're like, you're snooping and you find something and then you're like, oh no, I'm not going to say anything because I want to catch it in the like I want to either like make this massive plan to like make it like, you know, a foolproof sort of thing. And you didn't do that. And so that makes me think that you just were afraid to like talk about this kind of stuff when you shouldn't be, because clearly your gut instinct is right. This guy is an absolute idiot and a piece of shit. So trust that moving forward.
Yeah.
And please text those numbers and let us know.
Or just send them to us. Send us the numbers.
Yeah, I'll text them. If you don't want to, we will. I just can't. Please let it. We need more. We need more. Text the numbers. Give us the numbers. Someone in this situation, out of her and us, needs to be texting these. Texting these. So you're still texting other bitches?
Yeah.
In the words of Black China.
All right. Call number 5.
Okay.
Hi, Megan and Melissa and potential guest. I hope everyone's doing well during this quarantine. My name, well, never mind. Ignore that part. So basically, just to give you guys like a rough background, I'm 34 years old. I'm married to my husband for a little over 4 years. We have 2 beautiful little girls. And basically what I'm calling is I needed a little bit of advice when it comes to the bedroom. So my husband and I are very open when it comes to like what we like, what we don't like, things like that. And one of the things that he would like me to do is talk dirty to him. And I know I'm fine with, empowerment and stuff like that. But for some reason, I feel really dumb when I try to do that. I kind of smile or giggle in my mind. I just don't know how to do it and sound extremely confident, so I just don't do it. But I know that he wants that. So how do I do that and still not feel so dumb? Should I, have a blindfold and blindfold him and then do it? Or do I, I don't know if he wants more of like a raunchy type of talking dirty, or I don't know. Any advice you guys could give would be really great. I'm an Aquarius. My husband is an Aries with Pisces tendencies, and my kids are Leos, so we are a very fun bunch of parents. But I also want to show my kids, it's good to have like a stable marriage, and if my girls, when they get older, they want to talk to me about things, I don't know. I just want things to be good. Anyway, that sounds so stupid, but anyway, thank you.
I want to know what the other kind of dirty talk she thinks there is that's not raunchy.
It could be just like describing what's going on, but not in a dirty type way.
Oh, okay. Like more seductive, less like nasty.
Nasty, yeah.
My first advice as someone who I love dirty talk. If you're not talking and I'm like, what's going on? I hate this. Please, speak up. But I would say, I think a good way, because I think dirty talk is different in every relationship. I've been with some guys who are not into it at all, and I'm not into this. And then other guys that are into I guess not necessarily different kinds of dirty talk, but what turns them on or whatever. And I think a great thing is, does he talk dirty to you? Is there things that because most of the time when you're talking dirty, yes, it's for your partner, but I think if it makes you really uncomfortable, I don't think you should do it in general. But I do think that if there's a kind of way that he dirty talks to you, it's going to give you an insight into what he thinks is hot and what he's turned on by. And then from there you can see, oh, am I turned on by this too? Is this something that makes me feel kind of sexy? And I think at least for me, the thing that makes me feel the best is when I feel the sexiest. And if you're talking dirty and the response you're getting is incredibly positive, that feels great. And it's the same thing as you. And it's the same thing as blowjobs. You love to give head because you're good at giving head. You don't like it if you're not good at it. And I'm not saying you're not good at dirty talk, but I think you're not getting the response that you want, or you're not.
She's not comfortable because she's not probably comfortable saying the words out loud. Also, she doesn't know what her husband wants. So I think the first step is asking him what he wants said.
Mm-hmm. And ask him in the moment, but you could also ask him just hey, heads up, you want dirty talk? What are you into? And if you're uncomfortable, if he feels weird saying it out loud, if there's fucking porn that you liked how they talk to each other, send that over. Give me some reading materials.
Yeah. Study up.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I won't share with the audience, but your profession came up on your caller ID. So
you could use that.
I think that's a start.
Mm-hmm. Well, imagine we're wrong and it came up wrong.
It was it's whoever the person who had it before. She just got this number.
I'm an attorney. What do you mean?
I mean, that sounds hot to me.
Honestly, true.
Smack that gavel. Come on. Throw in the book.
I mean, I would say a good rule of thumb, most men, unless they have a really small penis and they know you're lying, tell them how great their fucking cock is. Mm-hmm. Don't use the word penis. No. I would say pick those, pick pussy, cock, sexy or kind of words. Mm-hmm.
But things that you're comfortable saying. I think you get more comfortable the more you say it.
And you're only, at least for me, I think the more you get more comfortable, the more you say it, and the more that you then start to lean into what you get the positive feedback and positive response from. And then that in turn will maybe become a turn on for you, because I think that I think if I would also just have him do it too. And you guys obviously have like a great relationship. And so I don't think that there's any reason why, if like it doesn't go well or if it feels awkward, like you can stop and like let him know that. And he sounds like a good dude, that he's not going to be like, no, you have to fucking do it. Yeah. And I also think like it can be really jarring when like we're over here being like, maybe like, I love being called a slut in bed. Like that's like, it's not like the first, like that's so not how it has to go. Like the first fucking time that you like do dirty talk, it doesn't have to be this kind of like really like scary sort of like hella fucking intense, like shit. It doesn't have to be like that. It can just be more like seductive and romantic. And maybe you start off by like sexting beforehand and like use like you guys are both at like work or something like that, and like you can just like start off by like sending him like some sexts and like have him respond and like see how he's into that, and then that can kind of give you the lead into it. But you guys have a great relationship, and it sounds like you have like a good sex life, and you're really open with each other. So I wouldn't treat this like something that's also that huge of a deal, because like if this is something that he's into now, you guys are married, you have 2 kids, this isn't a deal breaker for him.
No,
and like,
it might be something where he thinks this could help spice things up.
Yeah, and it's something that he's like, oh, I've always thought this like might be like fun, like let's try it. And just because someone is into something, if it's something that they haven't done with their partner before, it can kind of feel like, oh shit, like I need to live up to this kind of thing. Like it might not live up to what he wants either. Like I think in theory it sounds great and like he'd be into it, but like let's figure out in practice if this is something we're both into and we both like. Yeah. But yeah,
good luck.
Ease into it. Yeah, I'm excited for you.
Me too.
I don't know. I mean, maybe there are. I know, actually, I think I do know some people who don't like dirty talk, but most people I know are, once you're in a relationship for a long time, you're like, but you see me with like my fucking face mask on, I haven't worn makeup in a month, like I need you to tell me that like I'm a nasty little slut when I've just been sitting here watching Food Network. Like I know it's a lie, but I need you to.
I don't particularly like, it's not something that like I would request. Yeah. But like if it happens, I think it's hot. So it's not something that's like top of my list. I prefer like a good ass smacking, but
yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's still, I think it's hot.
Yeah. And I think the sexiest is when like the person that you're into is into, like when you're both really into it, and verbalizing that can be like such a great way. And also that might also be like what your husband wants. He just wants to know that like you're really into it, and like it doesn't have to be so complicated for like making up scenarios or saying stuff. It can literally just be like, I love it when you do this, or like do this to me, or do you want me to do this to you? Like, do you like that? Like it can be really like narrating.
That's why I was saying it could be just like describing what's going on, or he wants just the nasty stuff. That's why you should ask him, because you don't want to come in there like guns blazing. He's like, whoa.
She's like, come on my ass with your big cock. Call me a dirty slut. Like
smack me with that dick in your face.
Oh my God, smack that cock across my face. And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's just like, I just wanted you just to say like, I like your big I like it when you put your dick in me. Like
she's out here like, oh shit, I'm sorry. I went a little too hard. Yeah, build up to it. And then also, if you really don't want to do it, just like be really bad at it. And then he's like, yeah, never mind.
That's true. She's like, put your penis in my pee hole.
Pee-pee. Just like say what you do to your kids. Like give that kind of an attitude. Like, mommy's vagina would love a pee-pee. Give me that pee-pee, daddy. And he's like,
no. He's like, no, I'm good. Or he's like, oh yeah.
Oh, I die. Well, let us know how it goes. I hope you have a great time. I hope he has a great time. But more importantly, I hope you have a great time, because you're the one who called in.
Yeah.
It's time for an update. And this is who's it from?
I'm just gonna say this. If you have not seen our June 1st episode, go watch that. It's the title of the episode. I don't think that I can fully describe what happened. So just go listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for people that did listen, I'll just say Coma.
I might pee myself. Okay, I'm ready.
Hi, I am calling in with an update. I'm the girl whose husband thought that he had killed a girl, but he was actually in a coma. I didn't give all the details in the beginning because I was scared that me being anonymous, I was scared somebody that knew the story would listen to it and know that it was me. So that's the reason I give all the details. I do know all of the details. It basically he was drunk and he was driving. They crashed. We'll give the girl her name. Let's call her Sheila. He thought that he had killed Sheila. Well, nobody ever told him that he was wrong. He never really talked to the family about it because he just believed this. Meanwhile, he stayed close with the family. He just thought that they were just trying to brush it off, trying to just not remember. I don't know. But Sheila never actually existed. It was actually what he thought Sheila's twin sister, Mackenzie. Mackenzie was actually the girl he was dating. He thought it was Sheila. Sheila doesn't actually exist. So he's been talking to Mackenzie this entire time thinking that was the twin sister. So whenever he found out this wasn't real, it obviously messed with his head a lot. And he basically broke down and we talked about it and it messed with me a lot. Obviously I think that would mess with anybody. And whenever he first told me all this, I also questioned it like you guys are. I was like, that's weird. There's no news story. There's nothing about it. But I obviously why would somebody say that they killed somebody as a lie? So I was like, okay, whatever. So I brushed it off. Then I find out that Mackenzie is who she is. I kind of overstepped I at the time thought I was overstepping my boundaries. I now realize that it's what I needed to do. I messaged her and asked her, and I was like, hey, I know you don't know me, but this is who I am, and I just want to know if you still have feelings for my husband. And she's like, absolutely not. We broke up, and I see him as an older brother now. And I was like, okay, that relieves a lot of the stress for me. That relieved a lot of the stress for my husband, because even though he didn't want to leave me, he was absolutely terrified because he knows how strong love can be. I hope that answers all of your questions. I know this is a crazy ass story.
No, it doesn't answer. Okay, so okay, I know that if you're in a coma, there's a lot of things like reality and versus the dream state that you're in. A lot of things get blurred and messed up, and you don't know what's real or what's not. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. But Mackenzie wasn't going by Sheila when they were together. So how did he not know they were the same person?
And how, if he was close with the family, how did nobody correct him?
Mm-hmm.
Because he would have been thinking that he literally got away with murder.
Yeah.
And so then he has gotten away with murder in his mind and is still close and in contact with the girl's family whom he murdered, and then still talking to who he thinks is the twin sister of the girl that, again, he thinks he murdered, and he's not saying any of that, and he's thinking that he got away with it.
And they have the same, was she lying about her name before? How are the names not the same? I still have so many questions. Also, if he was in this coma when they got in a car crash, they never really broke up unless she would have had to go to him later and say, we broke, I don't want to be with you, which means that he would have known it wasn't the twin.
Oh, yeah. Or they broke up before and they broke up before the accident, but he doesn't remember that. But also the fact that you texted her and asked her if she had feelings for him, and he was like, oh, relieved because she doesn't.
Yeah.
The way you talked about it with her, it doesn't necessarily sound like she was even in contact with him.
Yeah.
Like it was like, no, I'm in a relationship, like not into him. Like this, and I'm just going to say it, and like, I don't know how fucking big of a town that you are in, but the fact that there are no like news article, have you looked at any like, because if like, have you seen medical like have you seen like any proof that this was a real thing that happened? Because this is just not like, there are so many holes that like this just I'm just thinking that maybe you met your boyfriend after the accident, and maybe this was something that was happening before the accident, or maybe like he has a lot of oh my god, what's it called? Some like trauma induced like psychosis or something like that happened.
He
like
could also
PTSD.
be brain injury too because of the accident and the coma.
There's a lot of stuff here that like isn't the story itself. It is like his perception of like reality, and regardless if these people like exist or not and you can message them, I think that you need to have, I mean, he should be going to therapy in general, but I think you need to have a sit down conversation with him, this girl, her family, and his family, and find out, because right now you're hearing everything through him, and then when you're seeking out information on your own, you're not all on the same page. And I think you guys need to all have a whole conversation about it, because if there are some stuff that is like not like, if this is like there's a 1% chance that everything that is happening and there's like a reason for it and it all is like it's like a fucking web of lies and it's fucking insane, there's a 1% chance that's happening. But if all of these people in his life care about him, you included, there's a 99% chance that there's something else going on with him. And that if you guys all sit there together and you can talk about it and you can all get on the same page, because I'm sure all of you have different realities and all of you believe, like, know and think different things. If you guys can get all out on the table there, I think you can also get him some much needed help. Because like, not that I mean, I just watched a Criminal Minds episode of this guy who he's got trauma induced like PTSD, which led to him having like a psychotic break and like going into a state of psychosis and not knowing what he was like doing or saying or anything like that. And it happens. Like, that's not just a TV show thing. It like truly is a thing that happens. And I would assume from everything that I've like read and seen about that, it's incredibly scary for the person that it's happening to, because like there is no distinction between their real reality and their other reality in their head. And I think you've been let into a portion of this, and I think you and the rest of the people in his life and the people who are like in this story need to be let into the full knowledge of it, because that's the only way that you can either move past this or just get him help through all of this. Because this is like, and like there should be at least some record of it, and like it doesn't make sense that he would then be calling, because maybe the whole thing is maybe he hasn't been talking to her. Yeah. Maybe he thought he's been talking to her. It's been in his head, and that he thought that she died. And so this whole narrative that like the first call we were like, how are you talking to this girl? Maybe he's not actually talking to her. Yeah, maybe it's true. Like it's all been in his head. And that's also the reason why when you reached out to her, she was like, yeah, no, we like broke up. I don't have feelings for him. But I don't think that this is done at all, because there's still, even if you know the answers to these questions, I think, I don't want to say you can't trust him, but like the stuff that's going on and the things that he's saying are literally explicitly coming from the fact that he was in like a coma and like having a hard time distinguishing between like reality and like what wasn't real. And so I don't think you can necessarily trust just his word on this. And I think you need to have that conversation with everybody else involved and then get some help from there. And maybe if it's even if it's just like a casual, you all go to someone's house and talk about it, and then from there like seek professional help. It doesn't have to be, or maybe you guys know like a trauma counselor or someone who could come in and like facilitate a conversation. But this is like a lot.
Yeah.
It's
floored. A lot to deal with. It's a lot.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
To take in, it's a lot to even believe.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you have all the answers, great, but we can only go off what you told us.
Yeah.
So.
And also, nobody knew. Also, wait, if she was afraid that someone was going to know, but there's like no proof in like the paper or something, and like it's not, the only people who would then know are like him
and the family,
Sheila and Mackenzie.
Sheila Mackenzie's her
Sheila
full name.
Mackenzie, and that's it. So,
and her family, because he still talks to them, right?
Yeah. But if those are the only kids, like who else is listening to this podcast? Like,
yeah.
And no one commented and said they knew. Everybody was like, "What the fuck?"
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we just need to do an episode where we call her.
Yeah.
But I mean, first and foremost, have this sit-down conversation with everybody, because it's not, there's something else here.
Yeah.
It doesn't all add up. There's no way you guys all have the same story too. And then if you all like sit together and like break it down, that it like is, there's like such a slim chance. Do you know what I mean? Like that everything went exactly, like everything happened in this like small chance of a way that ended up to where you guys are. Like that's just so weird. And also then everybody would have to be dealing with something like a little fucking wild.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah.
This is like a hard, I feel like I'm on season 4 and I'm like, I missed all the other seasons.
Yeah.
Like I don't, like I'm so fucking confused.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
And season 4 is usually when stuff starts getting like confusing, because they got to start thinking of new storylines.
It's like the last season of Lost, where I'm like, what's happening? Like, what? How did we fucking end up here? Good God. Well, give us a call back, and
maybe this should be the first person we actually just call.
I know, maybe we should just call you.
Yeah.
You put us on the speakerphone and we facilitate the conversation.
Oh yeah,
everybody.
Yeah, you have a what's it called?
Red Table Talk.
Yeah, we have a Red Table Talk. That's not what I was thinking of, but we will go with that.
I wish you could submit people for Red Table Talk.
Yeah,
like I wish I could be like, Jada, please help.
Which is essentially Jerry Springer, but like nice version. Because everybody on Jerry Springer was submitted.
That's true. Oh my God. I love it. I'm here for it. Wow, guys. Well, that's it for our episode. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to give us a call, leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. International listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Our Facebook group is still currently closed for new members. So you can apply, but I think what we're going to do when we start it all over again, we're going to delete all of the requests and then
we've
whoever
got
replies them.
New questions.
Yeah. So there's really no point to apply right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it will be open again soon. Follow us on Instagram. We hit 10K, baby. So excited. Swipe up links are happening. Don't Blame Meme Pod. And you can follow us on our individual socials. My book is out. Oh, do you want to source some questions for your new podcast?
Yes, please. So I have a new podcast.
She's cheating on us, everybody. It's okay. She's not. Technically, you're cheating on Grace with me.
Yeah.
And then you're cheating on me with Candace and Kayla.
Yeah.
And now you're cheating on Candace and Kayla with this.
Well, actually, I think I'm cheating on Candace and Kayla with Lily and Jocelyn.
Oh, true. The whole moral of the story is Grace is the one who's been cheated on by everybody.
Yeah. And I'm just a big slut.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a big Aquarius slut.
But I own it.
True.
And everybody knows. So yeah, I have a new podcast coming out called Never Sleep Alone. I've talked about this lady's book in our Facebook group, Dr. Alex Schiller, because it's fucking hilarious. She calls herself a sociosexual therapist. She's so funny. And so we're doing like more of like a roundtable discussion for sex, and it's all sex related questions. Megan's going to be on an episode. So if you've got anything pertaining that you're that you question or just have experience with, like anal, cuckolding, orgasms, anything sexual, DM me and I'll send you the number, because I don't know it off the top of my head right now, but I'll send you the number. And anything sexual, like things that we wouldn't talk about because we have no experience. And also like there's going to be experts on the show as well. So they're going to like give like their expert opinion, plus then like people that have other experience with it. So it's just going to be a good time. So please DM me. I'll give you the number. Or you can email nsapod@gmail.com. Never Sleep Alone pod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. I'm all about it. I'm very excited. Excited to be on it. Excited to listen.
Yeah. It's titillating. Juicy.
What a word. Titillating. Anything else that we... No? I feel like no. Hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Don't Blame Me is a production by me, executive produced by Melisa de Monts, and music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.